Hello, gorgeous moon children, and welcome to February 2021, where all of the Aquarian energy is meeting. Everybody's going to have a big conference in Aquarius, and we're all going to ride that wave together. As usual, I love sitting for the Cancer reading. I mention this every month because it's very exciting for me. It's super exciting for me, but I am married to a moon child, a Cancerian, and it's just like been one of the biggest, I will get so emotional, one of the biggest blessings of my life. So I just really appreciate this energy. I also have my Venus in Cancer, so this is just a good place for me to be. This energy is energy I love to be around, to work with, and to learn from. So love talking to you guys. And actually let's talk about what I meant when I said all that Aquarian energy, because okay, let's just list out what's going on here. We have Sun moving through, it's Aquarius season, so the Sun moves moving through Aquarius till the 18th. Jupiter and Saturn, of course, have joined Aquarius and will be here all year. Venus will be entering Aquarius on February 1st. We have a Mercury retrograde in Aquarius until the 20th of the month. And we have a new moon in Aquarius. See what I'm talking about here? It's wild. So we're doing some adjusting, and that's basically the way I've been talking about February for all signs. This Mercury retrograde is helping us integrate. It's helping us understand how to work with Aquarian energy. Mercury retrogrades to me are kind of a mercy, because we have to have time, and this is why, 3 times a year, it's like sit down and listen in and just get a sense of where you are with things. It's really interesting for Cancerians because for so long we had all this energy in your opposing sign of Capricorn, which in some ways may have challenged you, may have asked you deep questions, but also in some ways maybe brought about great relationships, great fusion, great connection to others. Now with all the energy into Aquarius, we're talking about the 8th house of death and transformation. And I don't want you to get all spooked about that. I know we covered this lightly last month, but let's talk about it today, because here's the thing, you're a water sign. And the 8th house work is water work. It is behind the scenes, intuitive, energetic work, right? So this is something that you actually innately know how to work with. It's a magic that I think you have in droves. And actually what's funny about Cancerians in general, I think, not all of you, is that because you are focused and driven people, you can sometimes get reliant weirdly on not your intuitive side, but on your ability to initiate, to make things happen. And this energy, all in Aquarius, that we're going to be working with even past February, is asking you to trust back in your intuitive guidance system and to get really clear on that. So you may feel like you're a little bit blind, or like you're less in power, like you're less empowered to do things. But however, especially with Jupiter there, and also Venus, and also a new moon, these are all really positive things. There's a lot of magic behind the scenes that are helping propel you forward through practical life in the energetic, hidden, unseen realm. So my message to you is pretty simple in that it's just trust yourself a little bit more on that front, right? Don't feel like you're missing a step because you're utilizing that skill that you innately have. You're allowed to use it. And because I think what's so interesting about all water signs in general, and also at the end of the month, here's a great news too. Mercury retrograde ends, so we're going to have a little bit clearer thoughts. And then we head into Pisces season, which is so supportive of you all. It's another water sign. We're getting that ninth house big picture vision energy coming in for you, where you're actually able to kind of see the bigger process, the longer term plans. So once we get to the 3rd week of February, right, that last week or 4th week of February, the last week of February, you may find that things are starting to gel a little bit more and you're having a little bit more clarity. However, what was I just saying? Oh, it's so interesting with all water signs. Water signs, our culture, like the main culture, and especially in the US, I can't speak for all cultures, obviously, but a lot of Western culture is very masculine, right? So that's associated with like fire energy, which is very action focused, and air energy, which is very focused on logic, making sense of things, being diplomatic. So water energy is in many ways countercultural because it relies on ineffable things that you can't verbalize, things that are sensed and felt and hidden. And so sometimes it's easy to forget that this is a skill set we can actually use. High Priestess, that's like on the money. It's something that we are actually allowed to use in our lives, and it can actually be something that really helps us adjust. Knight of Swords. Ooh, I love this. Is really an interesting combo, don't you think? But like I'm saying, you know, I think there's a lot of fear around like 8th house work, transformation work, because doesn't that mean that you're just constantly going through grief? Maybe, but this is also one of the most potent healing energies, and it's also one of the most effective. 7 of Pentacles. It's one of the most effective lenses through which to see shift in the practical world, as long as you're willing to work with what this energy is, right? Which is about the hidden, which is about the sensed. And 6 of Pentacles. Okay. There's a level-headedness to these cards that I'm actually really liking, and I think will speak to the practical part of yourselves that wants there to be a way to step forward, right? A way that you can use your cardinal energy, your initiating energy, your focused energy, your practical energy to good effect. We do start off with High Priestess, and this is where you're going to want to come back. You know, in some ways, I think this month you may just want to tap into High Priestess wisdom anytime you're feeling a little overwhelmed or blind or disarmed or anything. You know, any emotions come up, come back to High Priestess. This may be the type of meditation you want to be doing, or just, you know, however you want to connect with this energy. You know, she sits between the worlds. She sits between the veils, veil of the seen and the unseen. And she brings about great wisdom. So this is you trusting in something that's deeper, right? And feeling for those feelings of what it is that you can feel coming next, and trusting more and more into that rather than pushing it away or saying it's valueless. Let yourself go here, because here's the thing. I mean, it's immediately followed by the Knight of Swords, and just look at that. I feel like this is a lesson, right? Because when we soften, we let ourselves go into the mystery, we let ourselves go into the shadow, we let ourselves go into the watery goodness of things, things move outside of us. Like, things move in the world. And that Knight of Swords, to me, is breaking something open. You know, the Knight of Swords is swift, it's fast. He kind of reminds me, like, if you were like at a boring party, which none of us are ever at parties anymore, and there was just like nobody you were talking, and then just somebody broke through the door and they just brought something so entertaining and hilarious with them. That's kind of what the Knight of Swords is. Or he's like busting open a window in a stuffy room. This is fast moving energy. So this is the kind of thing that pops in, like suddenly a job offer, or a breakthrough in work you're doing, or a breakthrough in communications with somebody. It's that like critical mass moment where suddenly something's happening, right? And it's like, it's moving you forward quickly, swiftly, fast. And one thing I will say is the message that comes up time and again is you think maybe things are moving slow. You think you have like time to, and you're like, oh, I'll just deal with that a few months from now. And then this Knight of Swords comes in and it's like, things are happening faster than you may think they are at the beginning of February. You may think, oh my God, nothing's ever going to happen. And then like somewhere in that month, there's this feeling of just like bursting open. So keep that in mind, that sometimes it's an illusion when we think things are really slow, especially during Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. You are going to find that things are not as linear or as obvious as maybe we're used to. Now, we have assessment here. 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles. Now I like this because this is going to be about balancing some things out, right? And just taking care of some business. On the one hand, we have this review. And like I said, this month is about calibrating ourselves to Aquarian energy, getting ourselves comfortable with it, figuring out our own mojo with it, as far as how we're feeling empowered with it, as far as where we maybe need to learn a little bit, and where we're noticing we have a shift in what we really want. So 7 of Pentacles is just a time to really, and this Mercury retrograde and all of Aquarius season really is a time to just look around, just do some weeding and focus a little bit, right? So just simplifying down. And then Six of Pentacles is about balancing and harmonizing. And I really like this because this is very soothing energy. There was a lot of frazzling energy over the last year, and there was a lot of like shock and electricity and things like that. And there will still be some of that in February, believe me. But that is why I think it's important for sensitive beings like you working in 8th house energy to make sure that you're grounding back down again to soothing, balanced energy. You're allowed to access that even if there's a whole bunch of collective things going on elsewhere. You're allowed to access both High Priestess and Six of Pentacles. Now, what this is also saying is that there is an evening of the scales. So for me, that kind of reads as maybe it's felt a little out of whack, right? Like some process in your life, I can't speak to everybody's process, right? Or something's just been feeling a little like imbalanced. And I think as we get that Knight of Swords and that Seven of Pentacles energy, which gets things kind of moving and realized, it allows for things to rebalance and harmonize and work a little bit better together. So I'm really liking seeing that because you may have felt a little off kilter at the beginning of 2021, and this month is really here to help get stabilized. And I'm seeing that really clearly with Cancer specifically. Is to stabilize and to trust your intuitive wisdom. Now, I'm going to pull a final card for our discussion today from my Animal Totem Tarot because it's gorgeous and I love it. And I'm really curious to see what message wants to come out. So let's shuffle there. Oh, trusting in the inner hidden magic. That's something, you know, you'd think that me as somebody who does this work every day of my life would have gotten that memo, but it's very easy to sit here and be in the teacher role. Of course, I always need to take this advice to heart for myself as well and come back to that High Priestess wisdom. And I need reminders all the time. So, Three of Pentacles. Ooh, that's a nice one. Look at that giraffe. How cute. Love giraffes. Let's see what the Three of Pentacles has for us. It's going to take me a minute to get to the right page. Okay. It's pretty fast, actually. Okay. Three of Pentacles, the giraffe. There is nothing wrong with keeping your eye on the prize, but keep in mind that this is only one part of attaining what you require. Lift your head and look towards where your goal or dream is and start walking towards it. As you walk, you will meet others along the way who will be willing to assist you. Take advantage of all that is offered to you, as you will never get to where you want to be on your own. Attaining goals is a team effort. Remember this, and you will be amply rewarded. I like that. I also think, you know, when I see that as the conclusionary card for our reading, I think about how, yes, not having to do things alone, definitely teaming up with people. There being breakthroughs with that as well. And even with the Six of Pentacles, even give and receive, right? So there is something to be said here about connection. And, you know, with Pentacles energy, this is great for money, for career, for the parts of ourselves that make us feel secure, stable, in alignment with where we're going next. So there's a lot of support here with Three Pentacles cards at the ends that are telling me that part of this intuitive knowing, part of this intuitive process, this transformational process is involved with you maybe starting to get involved with the work you do in the world, who you are in the world, and getting opportunities in that way. So that's kind of an intriguing message that's coming out here in the midst of me talking to you today. But it's there. There's a practicality that I really like. I mean, honestly, that's like an underrated quality. I think especially after this last year, it's like, it's great when some things click into place and start working and making sense and you can move forward, putting one foot in front of the other in a positive, supportive way, connecting with others, getting job offers that speak to your soul, making movement, making progress, having steps to take. Like, what a great feeling. That is something that, you know, it's very easy to take for granted because it just seems like the plodding along of life. But then when you're forced to sit in High Priestess for a long time, it's very exciting to have there be that movement. And like I said, I want to reiterate one more time, all this 8th house energy, it doesn't mean that you just have to live in the shadow world the rest of this year or all of February. It doesn't mean you're like living in the ashes and that that nothing beautiful is going to happen. It means that you have a lot of empowerment behind the scenes. It means that there is an extra emphasis on you utilizing those behind the scenes skills in order to move through the world, which means that you have to sometimes trust more of your intuitive gut and the not knowing than just the practical actions. It doesn't mean that it's one or the other. So just as a reminder, but I'm very intrigued by this month. I'm loving what I'm seeing for Cancers because like I said, it's balancing, it's harmonizing, it's centering. It's about coming back into a sense of wholeness and safety in yourself. And that is a great thing. I will be offering a lot of extra support on Patreon. I would love to see you over there. So I will leave the link for that below. And you can also find me on my website and on Instagram. So I'll leave all of those links below for you. You can also find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. I'll leave her link below as well. Have a beautiful February, my Cancerian family. I love you so much, and I will talk to you in March for more Pisces magic.